This is Gary Edward Gettle, psychologist, psychotherapist here in Lausanne in Switzerland. And it's Monday evening, Monday the 27th of the 4th, which is April still, 27th of April. And tonight we're looking at the second half of Gary's conspiracy theory, which is my reading of what actually happened in the relationship between Meghan Markle and her father, Thomas Markle, before the marriage, which we saw last week. If there was anybody that's actually seen last week, but you'll see bits of it from this week. And that's, what am I going to say? So there's stuff happened before the marriage when he took photographs of himself. And Meghan, hi, good evening. And he took photographs of himself, and Meghan didn't like that, and she got very upset about it. And then she told everybody how awful it was, and what an awful thing that someone would get someone to take photographs of themselves and have be paid money for it. It sounds to be like a big to-do about nothing, but anyway, she did. And if you have a look. Last week, it's the full explanation of it, and this week it is just a resume. So I think we'll go straight into that. And so you can see the second half of Gary's conspiracy theory of what happened with Meghan and her father. I'll just switch the microphone off. Who is Meghan Markle? Hello, welcome back. Gary Gettle, psychologist, psychotherapist. We're talking about Meghan Markle, and today it's the second part of my conspiracy theory about what really happened between her and her father. This time we'll look at the famous, or should I say infamous, letter that she wrote to him and his response and the court case and blah-de-blah-de-blah and all that. But first, for those of you who missed last week's episode or need a reminder of what was said, here's a short recap. What really happened between her and her father? What's the story? So let's start off at the beginning. So Meghan is engaged to Harry. She's going to have this big wedding. It's going to be great. However, my hypothesis is that her relationship with her father, since he's become old, in his 70s, late 70s, he's become poor, and there's no longer much use for her. While her mother, who's always been this wonderful person, she's going to be there, and really, she doesn't want him. Wasn't invited, but he knew it. A world where people create reality. What do? He came and started getting pictures taken of him preparing to go for the wedding. It was like he was creating a reality. The reality that he would be part of the wedding. Then she either couldn't not invite him or even change her mind and not invite him afterwards. Instead, he'd create a reality, the reality that he was part of the wedding because there were pictures of him preparing for the wedding. That's my theory. It's my hypothesis. So what happened next? Meghan got very, very, very angry. She was very, very, very upset. What, by making these pictures in any way, did it attack her privacy? Nothing. No way. This huge upsetness, this being disappointed, this being betrayed. He didn't show any pictures of her as a child. The reason why she was so upset was because she felt she was being manipulated. And I don't think she was wrong in that. He was trying to manipulate her. No, that's not okay. It's her job to manipulate and create reality. There is nothing wrong with that. There was nothing wrong with that. And yet she made it into this international scandal. And she made it such an international scandal, in my view, that then she felt legitimate to tell him, there is no way you're coming to my wedding. Everything. Now, the problem was, if he was not allowed to go to the wedding, what could he do for everybody not to lose face? What he did, what he told everybody, was he had a heart attack. The fact he was having a heart attack. So already that was that. Yes, that was that. But there was only one chapter. That was only the first chapter. Okay, the next chapter, the letter. Now this letter she wrote, this 5-page long letter after this nonsense of him taking a picture of himself. But no, she had to write this 5-page letter because she was so disappointed in him and so upset. So why would someone write to their father a 5-page letter, good God? It's really sort of a bit extreme, don't you think? So it was 5 pages, and I presume it took a long time to write. And then, what is really interesting to me is that she showed it to other people. She asked their advice. Now, if you're writing a hot letter to your father, full of emotion, to your father who has destroyed you emotionally, you don't show it to everyone. You don't show it to anyone.
This is the final chapter, the closing
you don't usually breathe a word of it.
You must not falter.
You say, I feel devastated. I need to write something to my father. That's it. If somebody's so devastated, is it not the most private thing in their life? You don't go around showing it to friends and your press secretary and people like that. No, she showed people. She even admitted that she thought it possible this could be leaked. When someone says, I think it's possible something could be leaked, that's because they're planning for it to be leaked, obviously. So already, before she's writing it with an eye that at some point the public will see it. You can agree with me or you can disagree with me, but I only look at the facts. You do not write a personal letter like that and show it around. Not to a press secretary. You might show it to your best friend. You might show it to your therapist. I've got people that come to me very regularly. They say, someone's written me this email or this letter. What do I respond? What do I do? Something like that. You know, they show me what they read, what they've written, what they think. That's normal. Yeah, we have a relationship. I make efforts so that people have confidence in me, so as to be able to give them feedback that will be appropriate. I don't go and tell everyone. I don't go and leak it. So she's shown the press secretary. She's shown other people. Other people as in plural. This has been a group function, a group enterprise. There's no question about that, because that's what happened after that. After that, parts of the letter were leaked to the press. Not one. Several organs of the press. That's what I understand. I'm not going to stop and look for what they were, but I understand there were several of them. Now, what's interesting is that there were quotations. Now, if somebody said, oh, Meghan has written to her father and she says she's disappointed in him and please stop upsetting me, and it's paraphrased, okay, that's somebody shouldn't be saying things, shouldn't be sharing with with the press. Okay, we know that. But that's just their appreciation, what they remember, what was spoken about, or how she felt and how she expressed herself and how they interpreted. No, these were phrases. These were specific phrases out of the letter. Now, you can say that afterwards, Thomas, he actually took other phrases out of the letter and printed them.
Your actions have caused me deep pain and broken my heart in ways I did not expect. I have only ever tried to support you and protect you, yet you continue to speak to the press and create narratives that are not true.
That was not appropriate, but he was responding. He felt he was being attacked. He was being attacked. He was being attacked in the press. Now, just a small, very small, not very important point, but how the hell do you think did they get quotations from that letter if there weren't copies of it that they had access to? Don't think that these people had photographic memories. And they didn't just discuss with somebody which bits they would send for publication, maybe. And I'll go a bit further. Now, with the judgment, I think that's also a total nonsense. Court judgment.
I find for the
So
plaintiff.
people said bad things about him, about Thomas. He was a bad father, blah, blah, blah. And he took the letter. He took some bits of the letter and he showed the bits of the letter that he wanted to do. And one could agree that he chose bits for a purpose, for a sense, that he cherry-picked parts of the letter. Of course he did. But then again, unfortunately, he's not as intelligent as she is. So he uses quotations from the letter to respond to the quotations that have already been leaked out and that have attacked him, and he's responding. So what does Meghan do? She sues everybody. And she, with her, poor me, I'm a victim, it was against me, how dare my father destroy me? And wanted to, and I tried to make up with him, and this and this and the other. And it's like, again, people, because she's a better actress, is better than him, better than one might think, she has convinced people that she's the victim. For me, I see Thomas as the victim. But she has convinced them. What she says is that what he has done, he has cherry-picked certain phrases out of context to attack her. Yeah, and who cherry-picked phrases out of the letter to attack him in the first place? You know, I think his lawyers were useless. Because all one would have had to do was to prove that what he did was only what she did first.
Yes, Your Honor, I have it here. Just give me a moment.
And that the newspapers had published parts of her letter. Why didn't she attack them? I'll come to that in a minute. So they should have just said, it's the same thing. You can't attack someone for doing the same thing that the person that's complaining did already. She can't complain that her exits were unauthorised. Well, if those were authorised, why did she not at that moment? This is interesting. In that moment that her portions that were published, did she not sue the press? No, she did nothing. They, Palace, whatever, decided they wouldn't agree, they wouldn't disagree, that it was authorised, nothing they said nothing. Now, if someone had taken my personal letter to my father and had published parts of it against my knowledge and against my will, I would immediately write publicly and say, this is not what I wanted, it was not okay, it was not authorised by me.
I want it off the internet as much as possible. I don't want anyone to talk about it. I wrote to my father, it's our business, it's not public property, please don't talk about it.
But she didn't. No. She said nothing, the royal household said nothing, the press officer said nothing. There was nothing to contradict what was said. There was nothing to say, this was out of context. I didn't mean exactly that. No, she said nothing. Nothing on the blow of those portions of her letter. And what did she do when he shared other portions of the letter? She made him the bad one. So he got the British court to attack the newspapers. Why? Because he published stuff without her permission. She wrote to him, to her father. Did he also not have the right, because it was addressed to him, to share it? And we reflected on that. It was also his. It wasn't just hers. It's his as well. And as I've said, to argue that things were taken out of context, such a nonsense as a legal argument. Well, let's not go too far. So, after the bits of the letter were leaked to the press on her side, did she defend it? Did she neutralise the stuff? Did she say it was unacceptable? When she said that, no, nothing, and yet he did it. It was like, again, a real story. It was the most awful thing. It's always the most awful thing. And so after that, whatever he said, whatever he did, it just proved just how awful he was as a person. I would suggest it was not so amazing that she destroyed him, that she destroyed his name. She destroyed him as a human being at nearly 80 years old. Imagine a father at nearly 80 years old and you wipe the floor with him in public. I don't think that's how it should be. So there you are, Gary's vision of what happened. My theory, it's a man alone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the last bit, my appreciation of who Meghan Markle is from a psychologist's point of view. I'll see you next time. So don't forget to like, share, leave a comment, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now. So there you go. So I find that fascinating. I feel that the whole story of him being a bad person because he photographed himself before the wedding, and then he's a bad person because the stuff that she and her friends leaked to the newspaper, he then responded to, that made him again a bad person. Basically, anything that he could do to try and get to go to the wedding or to respond to this letter that was like how bad he was as a human being, none of it counted. Everything that he did was wrong, and everything he did was destroying her. And of course, we have Prince Harry that's all like with her. That, oh yes, that's a bad man, this bad father-in-law who's doing awful things. We got to stop him. We need to go stop him coming to the wedding because he took photographs of himself. I cannot get over the fact that someone that takes photographs of themselves, even if they're paid for it, why not? Even if they sell it to the newspapers, why not? She does nothing but sell herself to the newspapers as much as she possibly can at any opportunity. He does the same thing, but because he's a bit not very smart, he just thought maybe that's a way to trick her to force her to invite to the wedding. No, he's not as smart as she is. She's much smarter. She's much more twisted than he is. And she said, oh no, can't have that. I'm going to be upset about this. And Prince Harry's going to support me. How upset I am. How I feel betrayed by him. Betrayed by what? How can you betray someone showing pictures of yourself? And I'm not talking about nude pictures or something awful that's embarrassing. Pictures of himself getting measured for a suit and reading about England and stuff like that. So that's the first one. And then I believe that they made up this story of the heart attack. I believe this is total rubbish. There's no signs anywhere. There's nothing medical. There's no hospitalization. There's nothing that shows you really had a heart attack. But it was an excuse, I think, that she helped him find so that he didn't come. And then what happened? She needed to write this 5-page letter. She needed to write it. Why did she need to write it? Because it was like good publicity. She can be, again, the poor one, the hurt one, the abused one. And so she wrote this letter, showed it to all her friends, showed it to her publicist, showed everybody possible this letter. So she knew exactly what she should write to have the right theme, the right attitude, the right energy. And then she got some of her friends to copy bits of it and to give it to the press. I mean, if it's such an important private letter that you need to write 5 pages, I mean, good God, what did she write in 5 pages? Well, I don't know because I've never seen it. But what did she write these 5 pages to bare her soul to her father, how she's been hurt, how she's been felt? I mean, why didn't she invite the poor bugger? Why didn't she confront him personally, directly, without it being recorded, without it sort of being a big show? No, somewhere it felt that was a way to get people on her side, because a lot of people were not on her side, especially in England. They already started to be a bit, I'm not so sure about her. And so she thought, I believe that she thought if she could write this awful letter, how that she felt destroyed by her father, then she'd get sympathy. And to do that, she had to be sure that it was written in the way that people would appreciate it as per her. And then she needed to release it to the press. So she got her friends to give certain bits, cherry-picked, to the newspapers, and that was fine. Nobody said anything. Nobody attacked the friends. Nobody attacked the newspaper for publishing what the friends gave them. That was fine. That was okay. That was no problem. But then, when he had not only the letter, but the British press that was actually sending stuff to everybody about this horrible person, he did the most awful thing. He responded to it. And that was even worse. The fact that he actually published himself parts of the letter that she sent to him, that was criminal. That was so criminal that she managed to sue the newspapers. And again, she made such a big floof of that she actually won. And don't ask me how she won, because I think it's just the most total nonsense, but she won. And she got them at fault for publishing something that I believe that they have the right to publish, but I'm not a lawyer, and so I have no idea. So there you go. So I feel that this whole conflict between her and her father was fabricated by her for various reasons that are more complicated. But I think she doesn't want him to come to the wedding, and I think that she wanted to benefit, and she wanted to make sure also that him not coming to the wedding was also his fault. She wanted to make sure that there was no question of her. So that's how it was. So that's the end of today. So next Monday is part of the last episode. It is in 2 parts because it's quite long. And so, who is Meghan Markle? Come and join me, and we'll see what we can do. Last 2 weeks, be a lot of people. Send me some messages, send me some comments, like, share, and I will see you maybe next Monday. Well, I hope so. Thank you for being here, and bye for now.